It's 8 a.m. at Skagway station. Our train is waiting for us at the platform with original carriages. Today, the train will be pulled by 2 diesel engines. This steam train only runs once a week, and unfortunately, it was not today. We're going to ride from sea level up to 2,864 feet over 20.4 miles. The rail line was built to make life easier for the gold rush prospectors. Before the train line, the material and food was carried by man or mule. The Canadian government of the time mandated that miners should have with them enough food for a year. Calculating the weight of the equipment, the food and the clothes, they had to carry over a ton of material from Skagway to Dawson City. Of the 100,000 prospectors who attempted the trip, less than 50,000 made it all the way to Dawson City.
Let Katie, Nicole, or myself know, and we'll definitely have a party when we get back down to Skagway.
The rail line from Skagway to White Pass was built between the 28th of May 1898 and the 20th of February 1899, which was less than 8 months in extremely difficult conditions. (1800 to 2,000 men were used to build the line, and 35 lost their lives doing it. Due to the difficult terrain, the spacing between the rails was reduced to 2.98 feet rather than the usual 4.69 feet. On the other side of the canyon, we can see the Klondike Highway, which now links Skagway to Dawson City. In the canyon runs the Skagway River. The train tracks were put down quite quickly for the first few miles, but from 6 miles out of Skagway, the terrain becomes much more difficult. We are arriving at the most spectacular part of the trip. The train in front of us is at almost 2,000 feet and about to cross the trestle bridge, which looks very fragile. We're approaching milepost 15. The tunnel, which was carved out with dynamite, is 250 feet long. The train has to pass a number of tight curves with an incline of 3.7 to 3.9% on average. The viaduct, which is 815 feet long and 213 feet high, was used until 1969. However, it became too fragile and was replaced by a second tunnel just before the summit. When the first train arrived at White Pass, 20 miles of track were laid, but there were another 90 miles required to reach White Horse. The work was completed on the 31st of July 1900, taking just 26 months to build the 110-mile track. By the end of 1900, the Klondike Gold Rush was coming to an end, and hence there were few prospectors to use the train. The train then became the means to carry minerals and goods and travellers until the line eventually closed in 1982. The line was opened again in 1988. The White Pass and Yukon Railway now has around 20 engines and 60 carriages and offers several trips to the White Pass a day.
It's summertime up here, and it can go either way.
Around 300,000 tourists make the journey each year from May to September.